Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Donovan's Daily Dose. I'm Mr. Donovan, your favorite APUSH history teacher. Today, we're going to dive into one of Lincoln's right-hand mans with William Seward. So let's talk a little bit about his background first. William Seward was a former Whig turned Republican from the state of New York. So he served in multiple political offices before being appointed to Lincoln's cabinet. This includes the governor of New York, and he was also a United States senator. Now, as a Republican and former Whig and then turned Republican, a lot of his fan base is going to be in the North, especially in the Northeast. He believes in a lot of infrastructure facilitated by the federal government, tariffs to protect American industries, and he also has some takes on slavery that worry Southerners. And that could be best exemplified by his speech called The Irrepressible Conflict. So if you scan this QR code above, it'll give you access to the speech. But here's a couple main points from the speech that will help you to understand why William Seward kind of emerges onto the national scene after the speech in 1858. In this, one of his biggest claims is that America will either become an all-slave or all-free country. Now, in this, he calls out the ruling aristocracy of the South, basically explaining how the slave power that generates Southern politics and allows slave owners to have undue influence over Southern politics is really a bad and harmful system, especially in a Republican form of government that America is continually trying to build throughout its states. So a lot of Southerners hate this speech. They feel like William Seward is trying to end the institution of slavery by saying that America will be either become all slave or all free. So they really worry about Seward gaining political power. Now, that QR code from before will help you to read more about the speech, but a couple other things to know. The abolitionists love this speech. They believe that William Seward is taking a strong stance on it. Throughout the speech, he talks about the importance of free labor and how a free labor kind of capitalist society is going to be really the most beneficial to the United States, not the slave system that is currently being used in the South. So even though the speech is applauded by abolitionists, it is hated by the South and a lot of the people who are in between, especially our border states that we'll talk about when we get to the Civil War, are going to be lukewarm on this. And this is one of the big reasons why he is going to lose to Lincoln when it comes to the Republican nomination in 1860. So even though he loses to Lincoln, Lincoln is going to put him on his cabinet. So he's going to be the Secretary of State, which is really considered the right-hand man of the president besides the vice president. So he has an incredible amount of influence on Lincoln, especially early in the Civil War era. One of the big things that he is going to do is he is going to give multiple edits to Lincoln's first inaugural address, the first address that he gives as president. And he's really trying to soften the tone, and here's why. At this time, there are multiple slave states that still are part of the Union, even though Lincoln has been elected. These will be later known as border states. So his goal is to tone down the rhetoric that Lincoln uses in his inaugural address to make sure that these border states do not leave and try to join the Confederacy. Along with this, Seward believes that this peaceful course of action should be followed as whenever possible at the beginning of the Civil War. That's why he's against sending provisions to Fort Sumter, which Lincoln ignores, and it causes the real first battle of the Civil War that a lot of historians point to. And this is going to be one of the biggest influences that Lincoln's going to have in his cabinet. He constantly refers to William Seward for advice and ideas that will shape the presidency. Along with this, post-Civil War, William Seward is going to continue to have an impact on American politics. He will be Secretary of State throughout the 1860s during Lincoln's first term and his second term, which Andrew Johnson takes over after his assassination. He's going to help broker the purchase of Alaska in 1867, and it's kind of touted as this bad idea. They call it Seward's folly or his mistake, or they really didn't see any value in buying Alaska, and that is until they find gold. Yes, gold is found in Alaska with the Klondike Gold Strike in 1896, which will make William Seward, even though he is not around for this time, make him look like a political genius. So that's a little bit about William Seward to help you understand his role in Lincoln's cabinet, his impact on American politics, and overall just his political affiliations. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon.